Gather round, children, gather round. Yes,
Gather round.
yes. Pick up your hot dogs and your marshmallows, because today we're around the fire, and just like in old woodman tradition.
No, we're out of chocolate.
Shut up, you. We're going to tell you a legend of the woods.
A legend of the woods.
Me and Uncle Bucket are gonna take turns here, just going through a whole story that'll hopefully hold your kids' attention and really stimulate your minds. It's an old, ancient story passed down by word of mouth for generations and generations.
Yes.
And I can't always remember it, so Mr. Bucket's gonna help me out.
Yes.
Yep.
That's how a tale is told, through word of mouth and mistranslations, like the Bible.
Yes. Now this is a story of hate and deceit and love and war and battle and all things good and all things evil. Tale for the classics.
It's called The Two Night.
The Two Night. Two Night.
He was too much night. He was a knight of the night.
But we'll get to that. Long ago in the deep, dense, dark pitch woods. Dark and pitchy. The darkest woods that anyone has ever seen hitherto.
Wasn't it darker than the darkest dark?
It was darker
times infinity.
It was so dark that at some points it was even light enough for people to see. It became so dark that it swallowed up the dark that became lightness. Just setting the scene for you children.
Yes, it was very dark.
Yes. There was a man walking through the woods. He had a large axe on his back. 2 shoes on.
No pants.
And no pants. He was out in search of something deep hidden in the woods.
And he kept searching for nights and nights and nights. Nights became weeks. Weeks became months. Months became hours. And hours became seconds.
That's right, Mr. Bucket. That's right.
Right.
So looked around.
And he kept searching.
Until he came across a large woman. A woman larger than most trees. She was huge.
He mistook her for a mountain at first.
The mountainous woman looked down at her and said, "Hey, what are you doing in my woods?"
I am the man of the night.
What is your name, man of the night?
Curthane.
Curthane, man of the night. What are you doing in my woods?
I'm searching for the light. Tonight.
The light?
The light.
Well, I don't know whether or not you will find the great light here, especially considering, she said angrily, that I am a tumbledew.
Not the tumbledew.
The tumbledew.
Oh no.
I roll through these forests like a giant boulder, crushing all in my path. Trees, frogs, and everything in between.
How do you know what you're crushing?
I don't. I assume trees and frogs, because we're in the forest, Mr. Curthane.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
If you think that you will be able to find the light in the mountain behind me, you are sorely mistaken, she yelled at the top of her lungs, which were huge like her. She started rolling back and forth with her giant circular form, rocking, and she began rolling, rocking and rolling.
And rolling and rocking.
Rolling, rocking.
Oh my goodness.
Down the hill toward him she rolled. Curthane exclaimed,
"No roll!"
"No roll!" he yelled. "No roll!" "Yes, roll!" the mountainous woman yelled. "Yes, roll!" as she rolled at him faster and faster, taking down trees, cleaving epic boulders in half.
So he jumped into the swamp.
Directly into it.
The nearest swamp. And she floated around him. The mountainous woman. And the displacement of the water sent him on a wave, and he and he floated down an acre or two away.
Beaten by my own buoyancy, she yelled. Not again! Curthane stood, having just gotten away from the mountainous woman. In the field, dripping wet with swamp water, and there was a frog on his shoulder. He looked at the frog. The frog looked at him. The frog jumped off. Goodbye, frog.
Frog, come back.
The frog turned, looking over his shoulder. He said.
The frog said.
The frog said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, did you not remember that part of the story, Mr. Bucket?
I didn't remember that
I
part.
remember the frog distinctly saying.
Well, I thought the frog said, "Do you have the key to the mountain?"
Well, yes, I was speaking in frog, but that is what that means.
Oh, okay.
Children, you will need to someday learn to speak in frog, as the frog language will begin permeating our society, whether or not we want it to. Hey, fuck you too. Anyway.
Don't say that about my mother.
Oh, it's too late. It's already been said.
Darn it.
Anyway, Mr. Bucket. The frog turned and said the key is in the mountain.
To the mountain.
To the mountain.
Where is the key to the mountain?
Your dialect was weird. The key to the mountain, the frog told him, is that way. And he pointed with one long, slippery finger.
Ew.
I know. Frog fingers.
Point it, don't spray it.
Seriously.
Alright.
On Curthane went, in the direction of the frog's finger. Up a hill, down a hill, over a hill, under a hill.
Past grandmother's house.
He goes.
He goes.
Grandma yelled at him on the way by. Excuse me.
What?
Are you Curthane?
How did you know?
It's written on your back. It says, kick me, I'm Curthane.
Oh, I should take that. Who put that there? What?
Looks like it has one slimy paw print on it. I would assume a frog of sorts.
Gross.
That frog likes you. He's still following you.
Oh. Hello, frog. Making sure I'm going in the right direction?
Yes. I just wanted to make sure you were going in the right direction. Because if you got lost and you went in the wrong direction, it would be totally my fault.
That's true. And your pointing wouldn't have been that accurate.
I have...
Thanks for the guide, frog. Anyway, old lady, old woman.
Yes.
He shouted.
Yes.
Old woman.
What?
Do you know where the key to the mountain is?
The fuck are you talking about, sir?
The key. Ask the frog. The frog was mentioned it.
Frog, do you know anything about this? No. Curthane.
Okay.
You shouldn't tell anyone about the key.
Are you just making up the key?
No.
Are you just a frog? And he kicked the frog.
And just like that, the frog was smooshed, and dashed his body parts across the meadow. But suddenly, the body parts coalesced and turned into a pig. The pig stood on its hind legs, took its hat off, and said, "Hello, Curthane. I am the pig, and you have saved me from my froggy shell."
You're welcome.
I said thank you.
I'm just reiterating the fact that I say you're welcome to.
And I'm just reiterating my thanks, Curthane.
Okay. Good. What else can I do for you?
Well,
Top Hat Pig.
The fact is there is a key. Being trapped in my frog form, I was unable to tell you exactly where the key was, so I had to point with my little frog hand, which pointed pretty much at a 45-degree span because of my webbed fingers.
That's a general area of where the key to the mountain is.
But now I have these little pig hands.
Okay.
And I can point more accurately.
Okay, that's good. So now you got like two little pig snout things.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
put it
now
in
it's in one of these two locations.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you gonna follow me?
I will.
Okay, great. Thanks, pig with the top hat.
Yep. The old woman watched in awe as the frog that had blown into a million little frog pieces at the kick of the man Curthane, the mysterious man who had entered onto her property, had suddenly coalesced into a talking pig, which was now following him off into the sunset. Bye.
Bye, Curthane said, as well.
Don't come back.
Okay, that's easy enough.
Bitch. They walked onward, following the pig's hoof.
In the right direction.
The correct one.
At least for a little while.
Yes, until suddenly they came to a large cliff. The pig said, "Head that direction to find the key." There was a merchant sleeping nearby. The merchant poked up his head and said, "Excuse me, is your name Curthane?"
Yes, it is.
I could tell by reading the back of your schmuck there. What is that pig following you for? There's a sign on your back. It says, "Kick me, I'm Curthane." It has a pig print on the back.
Oh, okay. What the hell, pig? This pig was telling me the key to the mountain, he whispered, is over on this side. Do you know where it is? Do you know where it is? Where I can find it?
What are you talking about?
The key.
What key could there possibly be?
He stealthily said, the key to the mountain, and winked.
Man, you're gonna have to kick that pig.
Maybe the pig needs a hug instead of a kick.
Give him a hug then.
I'm gonna give that pig a hug. And he hugged the pig.
The merchant sat in awe as the pig blew into a million tiny entrails, spreading all across the cliffs. But suddenly they began to coalesce. The pig entrails came together, rolling and spooling until they formed a giant boa constrictor with the top half of a naked woman.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm a giant boa constrictor woman.
Are you sure you're not Medusa?
I'm not Medusa.
Okay.
I'm familiar with her work. Now that you have freed me from my pig form, which was freed from my frog form, I can actually tell you the true location of the key. And now I can point with one finger, whereas which will be more accurate
That's super accurate.
than the hoof, which pointed kind of in 2 points, and the frog's fingers, which pointed kind of in 3 webbed points.
Thank you.
Yes, it is in that direction.
And they went down that direction.
Her boobs bounced the entire way, up and down, as she slithered along the large path.
Stetson.
Yes?
Kids. This is a kid's tale.
Uh,
You can leave out that detail.
But
I know it's pretty important.
It's one of my favorite details. How is he going to find the key if the boobs don't bounce? Don't you remember the story, Mr. Bucket?
I don't remember how the boobs bouncing relate to him finding the key.
Maybe you don't really remember the nuance of the story, Mr. Bucket. I told you to remember the story, Mr. Bucket.
Stetson.
Anywho.
Sorry for that pause there.
Kids, now. I know you're getting restless, but the story's about to get good.
And I know we're out of chocolate. I'm sorry about that. I didn't pack the chocolate.
But maybe if you're good, you can use some of Mr. Bucket's special chocolate?
No, I'm not going to share that. They can't.
That's fair.
Their parents would not like that too much.
Can I have a piece of the special chocolate?
You can have a piece of this, but do you have to take any drug tests for the next 2 weeks?
I do not.
Then you can absolutely have
Oh,
some of the special
look
chocolate.
at this nice piece of chocolate, children, given to me by Mr. Bucket. I'll give a little to Timmy, too. Here you go, Timmy.
Don't.
He doesn't sleep.
crap.
He has chronic headaches.
Don't do it.
He's just ate it.
This
is delicious.
His headaches? He has headaches?
He has mad headaches, yeah.
Oh, shit.
I think it'll help him. I think it'll really help him.
Okay.
Okay. I feel great.
He doesn't have to get a job anytime soon.
I doubt it. Kids eat.
Yeah.
The boobs bounced, and they bounced, and they bounced.
And the sweat left a trail.
The sweat left a trail behind them. The boobs began to bounce alternately. First the right, then the left up, and then the right up, and then the left up. And obviously that would mean first the right would go down, and then the left would go down, and then the right would go down, creating an undulating symphony of boom orchestra as the half-woman, half-boa constrictor slithered along, sweating on the path.
She continued to sweat down the path.
She sweated and sweated until the large beads of sweat suddenly began to form gelatinous balls of venom, which rolled down her nude body and breasts and dripped onto the ground in steaming piles.
Picture it, children. Picture it. But then the sizzles became rumbles. And the rumbles became giant footsteps.
The rumbles were from her jumbles. The footsteps grew louder as something approached. Curthane turned.
Turnthane is what they called him.
Lifting his heavy axe off of his back and holding it out in front of him. He yelled, "What is that behind the wall?" There was a large brick wall. With the sound of the thumping had come up behind it from whence it came. F.
I am the walking brick wall. The walking brick wall.
The walking wall, Curthane yelled, exasperated.
The walking wall!
Not the walking wall.
If it falls on you, you're doomed to become one of the bricks in the wall.
Not just another brick.
Fall and all.
In
You're
the
just
wall.
another brick in the wall.
Sad. The brick wall began to fall forward, and as it did, it grew taller and taller, adding more and more bricks to its already impressive height.
Curthane ran. Curthane tripped. Curthane got up. Curthane ran some more, but he still couldn't outrun
The
height
boa
of the
constrictor
brick.
woman, Sandy, tried as she may to slither beyond it, but just as she was about to escape the fall of the wall, it fell and smushed her boa half, leaving her nude woman form perfectly intact. She rolled over on her back, her heaving breasts coming along with her, hefting and falling with her breath. Oh, my boa form is gone.
That's good, isn't that a good thing?
No, I'm
Said
dying.
Curthane. Oh,
All of
That's
my
unfortunate.
entrails are spilling out.
I didn't notice that. I'm sorry.
But suddenly the sizzling of the piles of the gelatinous acid sweat began to burn through the brick wall. Oh! The brick wall yelled and shuddered and shook. And it stood up and jumped off the cliff into the water below, trying to soothe its newly found acid burns. I'm glad it's off of me, but look at how smushed my boa form is.
Is there anything we can do about that? Asked Curthane.
If you just hold on a second. I've grown legs. She used her breast to stand up. Now that I'm standing... She dusted off her breasts as she spoke, which she used to stand. We need to head toward the key.
Did the wall know where the key was? asked Curthane.
I don't know. Let's find out. Hey, wall! The wall, looking up from its watery grave, said,
What?
You
What do you want?
You have any idea where that key went off to?
I'm not helping you or your breasts.
But they're heaving.
It does not matter to me. I am just a wall. Everyone makes fun of me for my lack of chest plumage.
I have an idea. We have to get down there, Curthane. Come with me.
All right, let's go.
Curthane jumped on the back of the strange woman, who then climbed him down with incredible dexterity. Down they went until they were standing upon the brick wall, where they collected several of the brick pieces and mounted them up on the brick wall like two large brick breasts.
Oh, wow. I am so delighted I have brick breasts now,
Do you see?
said the wall.
Do you see?
This is pretty great.
Will you now tell us the origin of the key?
All right. You did something for me, I'll do something for you. The origin of the key? You don't need a key. You just gotta find a way into the mountain.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, let's head up then.
Into the mountain.
Come on, Curthane, hop back on my back.
Okay, said Curthane.
Upwards they climbed, up the cliff wall. Deftly she jumped from one cliff to another, but just as they reached the brim of the cliff, she got just a little bit too confident with her rock climbing abilities. Curthane was able to grab on to the top of the ledge just as she slipped and fell, bouncing her breasts along the wall as she fell, slapping this way and that until she landed right into the cleavage of the large brick wall. The brick cleavage then smashed together, crushing her instantly.
Oh boy,
Curthane said.
What do I do now?
The mountain close behind him, he turned and shrugged and headed toward it, still not sure what exactly he was looking for.
All right. He sighed. A long sigh.
As he walked, mosquitoes came. He befriended them, and they lifted him into the air and carried him toward the mountain. Thump. He landed in front of the mountain. There was a large door with a keyhole on it. He approached the keyhole.
Oh, shoot, he said. But he didn't say shoot, kids.
He didn't say
shoot.
He didn't fucking say it.
He said he really regretted not grabbing those breasts.
He did.
He shouted it, he fell on his knees, he screamed it, and he kept screaming.
Until he believed so hard that his belief filled the keyhole, and the door opened. Curthane, now feeling a little bit better, stood and walked toward the doorway.
And he entered the doorway and walked through, and what he saw stunned him. It was unbelievable. It was a glowing blue stone surrounded by angels.
The angels all turned to look at him. He has seen the breasts, they said. He has seen the breasts, they all yelled.
They all chanted.
They all began to bow down to him and to pray to him. One made a macaroni necklace and put it around his head. The macaroni necklace at the bottom was very ornate, and there were two large circles representing the breasts he had seen. "Where are the breasts?" the angels yelled. "Where are the breasts?"
Where are the breasts? They all shouted. And he said they were...
Where are the breasts?
They're not in my hands, is what he said. Where were they?
So they were dashed across the rocks, you mean? They said, Mr. Bucket, you really need to remember the story.
I had too much of that chocolate.
Yeah, me too. It's kicking in. Oh, look at little Timmy. He's drooling.
He is drooling. Oh, don't fall in the fire, Timmy.
I can see the universe and smell stars. What was in that chocolate,
You can
Mr. Bucket?
smell the star. I want what he's having. Oh wait, I am.
Yeah. Mr. Bucket, always a bucket of fun.
Absolutely.
Anyways,
Fill her up with chocolate.
the priests were upset, finding out that the breasts that they
And
were,
the angels.
and the angels
cried.
who were there with the
And
priests,
their tears formed into gelatinous
acid
acid
blobs,
all throughout the cave.
Curthane turned to run, but the door closed behind him. He looked at the door, and next to it was not a lock, but 2 holes for breasts. He tried to use his own chest, but nothing happened.
No. He tried the macaroni necklace, but nothing happened.
The cave began to fill with the acid. He climbed up the edge of the door, but it was no use. The chamber filled and filled with the acid sludge until Curthane was nothing but bone.
But his axe was laid there
For centuries.
for centuries.
Centuries.
Centuries. And centuries. And nights. And days and minutes. And seconds. Some say it's still there.
Yes. Yes, it's true. And that is the end of the story. Mr. Bucket, what do you think the moral of this story was, if you had to guess?
Get breasts.
Get breasts. Get breasted, children.
Get breasted.
There's not much time. If you get trapped in a room that's filling with acid and there's no other way out, you'll turn into bones, except for your axe. Well, children, I hope you've enjoyed this story.
I'm gonna go get more chocolate.
I'm excited for more chocolate.
We can have some schmoes.
I love schmoes.
Me too. Yay, schmoes! Yay! Curthane's dead!
Yay!
Oh.
But only for now.